And then we have the other end of the spectrum, and the news that I chuckled when you sent it over and I read it, that AT&T is suing Broadcom over the VMware support stuff. We talked about this when this acquisition took place, whatever it was, I guess 4 or 5 months ago now.
Mhm.
And we talked then about that they were just becoming a cash cow. And what the reason I bring it is up, I find the juxtaposition so wildly different, right? Of you have companies like Salesforce and all these ones that we've been talking about making these massive investments into the future and just taking big swings. And then you have this play, right? And this is the other end of the world of IT that we live in, where this is a cash cow and they are just trying to wring everything they can out of it. And I, for one, am sort of glad to hear AT&T, another big company, with the wherewithal to go and kind of push back on this. And I'm sure there's thousands of smaller companies who don't have the ability to go fight someone like Broadcom cheering from the sideline, please go fight this battle for us. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, AT&T basically said straight out, we had this deal, and you said in when we renewed in 2024, we could continue doing our service the way we wanted it for another 2 years. And then Broadcom said, "Oh, sorry, we bought the company, and now we're going to totally change the rules." And AT&T said, "Hey, not so fast." And this is important both because obviously there's AT&T's piece of the puzzle where they're saying we honestly can't move off of VMware for several years, even if we wanted to, because we're a very slow monolithic telecom, but also because a lot of smaller companies end up using large vendors, large client contracts as a template for their own contracts when they're able to get access to them, either by working in consortiums or being able to work as partners in some way. So AT&T might be able to set some sort of precedent for these smaller companies as well, who also might have said, hey, we thought we were going to get this certain type of contract for the or certain type of support for the next 1, 2, 3 years. We agreed to it back in 2022 with the old administration and old leadership that was in place. And you have to actually respect that, even though you've changed everything else around your partner structure and you got rid of thousands of SKUs and changed them to basically 4 bundles that we can buy. Sometimes that increased our pricing by 200 to 400% by giving us the moon and star and sun and the stars into a bundle when we just wanted 1 star.
It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, obviously, for those of us that follow this like inside baseball, we've all been aware of this, but the general public, I don't think, has been. And this lawsuit is going to elevate this into, they're going to be talking about it on CNBC and all of that. And I'm curious if that actually changes Broadcom's approach and posture. I kind of doubt it. I mean, they certainly seem to be combative in arguing this point publicly, at least right now.
Mhm.
So I doubt it's going to change it. But I mean, I struggle. Well, it to me, it highlights 2 points, right? One is I sit here and say there is an entire class of companies that this is their approach, where they're genuinely not trying to innovate anything. They're just, going out there and sort of milking. But it also speaks to the point I was talking about, which is how much of the blocking and tackling. I mean, AT&T, while they may be older, bigger, slower, and more monolithic than the average enterprise, they're probably more representative of the average enterprise than not, in that so many organizations have so much investment in this technology and they can't just undo it. And so
Yes.
that's what, made this, I guess, smart in the, not great way smart, in the case of Broadcom, of the acquisition, because they knew they had this runway and they've clearly tried to take advantage of it. I struggle just because, as a true believer of technology and the power of technology, I want to see innovation. I don't want to see people just, going and doing that. And so in that way, it's disappointing, but it is what it is.